And he said
Not to
toughest
mention
road
on the
game
road.
is Clemson.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say you got Clemson on the road, you got Duke on the road, Louisville on the road isn't a slouch.
Yeah,
Like that's a solid schedule.
Oh yeah,
Very solid schedule.
There's no doubt. I'm looking forward to when we officially jump into it because I'm sure I'll have one or two shocking things to say about that.
Oh yeah. Well, look, hey. Without further ado, let's go ahead and knock that out right now. Let's get right into it.
Let's do it.
Let's go for it.
Let's see. Let me see. All right, here we go. You see right from the top, you have the game overseas. Can you see it, or do you know your schedule?
Yeah, I'm good. I see it.
Okay.
I definitely know game one. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So Navy, geez, man, I'm glad we have all the time to prep for them ahead of time with the triple option. They destroy players.
Yeah.
We have never walked out a game against Navy without 3 or 4 dudes going down. Oftentimes 2 of them for the season. So that's always tough to get all that banged up before the season starts. Other than playing them, because there's 11 games after that. I think firepower wise, Navy always gives trouble. Navy always scares me because they play their hearts out. I don't think we should have trouble putting the ball in the end zone against them this year. So not too concerned about Navy, which is a rare thing for me to say over the past 10 years.
Definitely see it as a win. And then you come back to the States and play Tennessee State. Is there any reason to sweat in this game?
I'm not going to sweat, but it is exciting, the game itself. This is the first below Division I game that the Irish have ever played. It's going to be a historic thing. Tennessee State coming into Notre Dame Stadium. I hope the band gets to take the field instead of our band for halftime.
Oh yeah,
but I'm not overly concerned about them as a threat. Look at it as a tune-up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. So definitely starting 2-0. But you talk about a tune-up, then you go to Raleigh to play NC State. And it's a big noon game. Sam Hartman knows these guys well. What are your thoughts about this one?
This one's one of those sneaky ones that's on here. Robert and Brennan Armstrong reunited.
Oh yeah,
that was a dangerous duo. NC State's been doing their thing for the last couple of years. So I'm not taking this one lightly. But I think at the end of the day, I'm going to give you that cliche that Notre Dame fans always give. And that is, we don't play for conference titles; we play for national championships.
Wow!
So I'm not gonna let NC State scare me too much. I knew that would get Alex.
Yeah, when you're in the Independence, but let's.
Champions of no Independence. What are we talking about?
So hey, right now you're 3-0, coming home to play Central Michigan. Our buddy JT, he'd have some choice words on this one. But Central Michigan is no slouch. But I think one of the bigger things about this is right after Central Michigan, you got Ohio State. So could this potentially be a trap game? So
the Central Michigan game doesn't scare me as a trap game. The Duke game scares me as a trap game. The letdown after playing in Ohio State. I'm not predicting a win, but say we go into Ohio or Ohio State comes in, we beat Ohio State. The letdown factor scares me a lot. I think there's still going to be a lot to prove and a lot to figure out against Central Michigan. The loss against OSU last year, it was a fairly tight game. Yeah, for most of the game. So I think Ohio State's had our number for forever. So I think they're going to be doing everything in the world, just like Alex has beat Georgia. I think beating Ohio State is big on the program's mind because we're trying to claim the Midwest, just like Michigan is. And Ohio State has had that hold. Michigan's fighting for it now, but we want to try and stake our claim on it too. So Central Michigan, not saying they can't scare you, but I think we definitely walk out with a W.
Yeah, I think if that one was on the road, then it's a pretty dangerous trap game. But them coming to you guys, I feel pretty confident about that as well.
Yeah, I agree. They're a pretty good team.
Oh yeah. So all of us got 4-0 to this point, and then on my birthday weekend, coming to Touchdown Jesus, Ohio State, the Buckeyes. What are your thoughts? I know you just talked about it, but what do you think, man?
It's Ohio State's really interesting, and I'd be interested to hear Alex kind of jump on it after I say what it is I say, just to get an idea of what he thinks. Offensive line is sketchy. Their tackles very sketchy. We're going to be a pretty physical team. They have clearly had some issues, especially with Michigan. Run it right down their throats. I think we're going to have a lot more of that this year, combined with the fact that, they could just load the box last year. Drew Pine, Tyler Buckner was there. Buckner was his first true start at Ohio State.
Yeah.
Send in the house. It was a tough game, but he stayed in there. I think now we've got someone who can challenge the defense a little bit, and if we can open it up, just like Michigan's done, if we're going to open it up, hit some big shots, and then hand that rock to Estime 25 times, I think offensively, we stand a chance. The big question comes. Everybody assumes that you plug the next quarterback in at these different places and they're going to be great. And Day's been really good developing quarterbacks, but it's still a new guy, whichever guy that ends up being. So outstanding weapons, all that good stuff. But it doesn't take, Shane Falco, quicksand. It gets you quick, So, a little slide, a little dip, maybe the coach loses confidence in one quarterback, goes the other too quickly. There's a lot of different factors in play. Their defense, Jim Knowles, heck of a coach. He gave us trouble in the second half, the Oklahoma State game, the Fiesta Bowl. We lit them up in the first half. They shut us down in the second half. So good coach, second year. It'll be interesting to see what they look like as well. So I don't have a prediction for it, but I guess my prediction is, I think we can win. And in previous years, that may not have been true, but I think we stack up against them. So they'll definitely be the favorite, but we can do it.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I've got you guys winning this game. Mostly that quarterback battle. I mean, whoever Ohio State's quarterback is going to be has the best set of weapons in college football. You've got the two best receivers. You've got a stable of running backs. The offensive line, like you said, is extremely sketchy, losing both tackles and their center. It's going to be interesting to see how they figure that out. And then you still got guys like JT Tuimoloau. You've got 5 stars all over that defense as well. But, I mean, Notre Dame always plays very good defense. And like you said, the ability of having Sam Hartman back there, and they can't just load the box on you. They've got to play you honest. To me, this is a matchup of who's at home, how I'm picking this, because it's two very good, very similar teams. So I'm leaning Notre Dame in this one.
Yeah.
I just want to blow the doors off of them like you did at the end of the game last
I
year.
would love nothing more
Run
than
the
for that
rock.
to happen. I'd love for them to be out of the playoff picture by the time they get to us. So
That would be beautiful.
please.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, absolutely. And look, Ohio State plays Indiana, Youngstown State, and Western Kentucky prior to coming in that game. So to your all point about, having this newer quarterback, this will be his first big test.
Yeah.
And that's going to make a huge difference in this. I got you guys winning again. I got you guys winning this one. I think you finally will be able to get over that hump. Then the next – go ahead.
Well, I hadn't paid attention to Ohio State's schedule before that, but that's kind of interesting with, we get the 2 tune-ups, as I said, with Navy and Tennessee State.
Mm-hmm.
But then we got some get-right games.
Right.
Yeah.
With NC State and Central Michigan. So that could be a factor that comes into play for them too when they haven't really been challenged up to that point. So
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And then the following week, you're going to do my team a favor, and you're going to go to Duke, and you're going to whoop that. All right? We don't even need to discuss it. It's going to happen. Let's go.
I do think they'll win.
I'm good with it. But
Yeah.
Mike Elko is a heck of a coach.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah.
And Riley Leonard is no slouch at QB. Yeah.
Yep.
No.
I agree 100%, but not something I'm going to lose sleep over. But if it happened, it would be one of those gut punching, call out a sick for 3 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What happened to Eric? Where'd he go?
Yeah.
They lost. I'd be mourning with you, brother.
Yeah.
And then you stay on the road and you played Louisville. Any fear here? They're in transition too, I believe.
Yeah, they've had a lot of turnover.
New
Braum
quarterback.
makes points happen, man. So that is a fear.
Mm-hmm.
I still think we're good. We should be the better overall team. And they did have a lot of turnover. But as the next team on the schedule proved,
Yep.
a lot of turnover isn't always a bad thing. But Louisville, not super concerned about it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys can get that W. However, we know who you had to face those last 2 weeks, and it's a nice little somewhat of a break because you got a gauntlet towards the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
You play USC at home, Pittsburgh at home, then you go to Clemson at home against Wake Forest, Sam Hartman's old squad, and then at Stanford. You look at those 5 games, starting with Caleb Williams at USC, man. Are you shaking? Are you at this point? Do you feel like you're ready? This is the stretch. You win this, you're definitely going to be in that Final Four.
Oh, Caleb Williams. Oh, So Caleb Williams, definitely a heck of a player. Great year. Definitely ticked a lot of people off just with his antics at the end of the year too. He made some amazing plays that were the difference in that game. Similar to what Stroud did against us. You have them against the ropes. They got 1 foot almost out of bounds. They got 2 guys collapsing on them, and they throw a dime. And that happened countless times. We were very, very banged up that game. We had 2 corners that were out. 2 out of the 3 top corners with Hart and Bracey. Brandon Joseph. I'm trying to switch the basketball on you. Brandon Joseph, who was our best safety at the time, was out. And there was a defensive end who I'm slipping on who it was, but that was out that game too. So there were some interesting factors there. USC being the potent offense it is, you're basically losing 3 starting defensive backs is not a good start. With that said, Lincoln Riley comes so close to losing all the time, like constantly. Alex Grinch, I don't know why people love this dude as a defensive coordinator. They talk
He's
about him all the
not
time.
good.
They could score 50 on us, but I think we could score 51 on them. So, yeah, Williams is definitely a threat, but I think now we have some threats too. So, I am not shaking in my boots over USC.
Wee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bring back Pete Carroll, and I will be shaking.
You're right.
Yeah, I've got you guys winning a close one there. Like you said, USC has no defense.
Yeah.
And I mean, Sean, we did our quarterback rankings a couple weeks ago, and this is what, 1 versus 3 in the quarterback rankings.
Right.
Like,
Yep.
This is as elite of a matchup as you're probably going to get this year.
Mm-hmm.
And man, yeah, I cannot wait to watch the fireworks in this game happen because USC scores on anybody.
Yep.
But yeah, I think you guys will score just a little bit more than they do.
Yep.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I feel like, our quarterback is going to they have weapons at USC. There's no doubt about it.
Weapons galore, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But he is the weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes teams rely on that a bit too much. So
Mm.
I will regret this in about 3 months.
We will go back to this. Yeah, man, this is a classic QB duel. Everybody's going to be there. The Heisman poll voters and all those guys will be there watching this.
Oh, absolutely. NFL scouts will be there. Like,
oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty
And-
much any team with a top 15 pick will be there.
Oh, yeah.
And recruits.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Everybody for this one.
Yep.
Everybody. So you have this one, and then you go play a very formidable Pittsburgh team. And then Clemson on the road. Like, I mean, USC is going to be tough, but then you got these other matchups that are maybe not as potent, but are still formidable forces.
Well, they do have the bye in there right after USC, which is perfect.
Oh,
I think that's the perfect time for it. You play them, and then you kind of reset for this last month.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The Pittsburgh game. Sean Spencer.
Yes, sir.
There's USC. There's Michigan. There is no one I hate more
Yep.
than Michigan State.
Go green.
And a lot of that is because I can't stand Pat Narduzzi for the life of me.
Yep.
He
Henry.
cries about everything.
Yeah.
His players hit late
Oh,
on
Yeah.
every play. They hold on every play. The year that they were, what was it, like 2013, 2014, they had one loss, and that was to us. The
Yeah.
only reason they lost to us was because we just kept throwing, over the top back shoulder, and they were holding our receivers. Flag.
Yep.
They do that at Pittsburgh now too.
yep.
I've never taken him serious as a coach. I know he's gotten some good wins. I think Pittsburgh is a real potential power in football.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's doing it. I think they talk about how physical Pittsburgh is all the time. I'm not worried about us being physical. So I think we're going to hit them in the mouth pretty hard.
Mhm.
And I think we're going to out-talent them too. And he cries a lot. And
Mhm.
I know he has irked some coaches on the staff and some other people around the program as well. So I think there's going to be a lot of motivation for that game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait. Yeah, I think you guys got this. Alex, what you think?
Oh, yeah. I don't think that game's going to be overly close.
Mhm.
Especially having that bye right there. I think that's going to be perfect timing. Like, if we all think they're going to beat USC, then playing Pittsburgh the next week is a little dangerous because you might be feeling yourself a little too much.
Right.
But having that week to kind of reset, be like, okay, this is the final push. We all have them undefeated. That final push for the playoff, knowing Clemson's still there, and you
Right.
gotta manage yourself to get there. I think Pittsburgh is kind of that game where everyone's like, okay, they're probably gonna make it.
Yeah, I agree.
And then you go to Clemson. And this is going to be a huge ball game.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you got Clemson, then you got the homecoming, the Sam Hartman game where he plays his old team. So that's 2 back-to-back styles. What are your thoughts about the Clemson one on the road and then coming back to play against Wake Forest?
Yeah, I mean, so Clemson on the road, 100% going to be a night game, right? So that is always scary. Respect the heck out of what Dabo has done. They're always loaded on talent. With that said, this isn't the Clemson of 4 years ago.
Yep.
Now I'm not calling them out because they've got a ton of talent. They've got a excellent, promising quarterback with Klubnik. So there's no lack of that. But they've also had some interesting things like, everybody is working the transfer portal now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dabo wants no part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an interesting disadvantage from that standpoint. Or does it turn out to be an advantage? Not throwing these guys in. With that said, Clemson's loaded. It's a night game. Scares me a lot. And we've beaten them 2 out of the last 3 times we played.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like we're going to be sneaking up on them this time. So that one is probably, to me, the scariest game on the schedule. Yeah. Especially if they have a loss or 2 and start going for it on 4th down.
Mm-hmm.
We know we don't have a chance, so let's ruin your chance.
Right.
Yeah.
Those teams are terrifying. But I've also looked at Clemson's schedule. They're not going to have a loss or 2, so we're okay.
No, they'll probably be undefeated at this point. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This will be another big one. But then the Wake Forest one, that's another one. If you get over that hump, is there a lag? Is there a hangover?
Yeah, senior day.
Yeah.
I think sometimes there are a little bit of a hangover there. Or is a little bit of a hangover there, but I don't know a ton about who's replacing Hartman, to be honest with you.
Nothing special.
Okay. But in the same right, even when they were really good or they have been really good, they can't stop anyone. So how they're going to stop Hartman from lighting them up. I just think even if that game goes perfectly for Wake Forest on offense, our defense will get more stops than theirs will. So I think we walk away with a win. With that said, I love Dave Clawson. He's an excellent coach. I'm a big fan of that guy. Whatever he needs to do to win, he's willing to throw it in there. It's really fun to watch.
Yeah, definitely got this one. Alex, what you think?
So Clemson, like you said, you guys have won 2 out of the last 3. I think this is an upgrade at quarterback because Klubnik is playing, not Uiagalelei. You've still got Will Shipley. Like, you've got solid players all over the place. You have to replace a bunch of 5 stars and first-round talent on that defensive line, which isn't great. I think Clemson, night game, Death Valley, I think this is the one loss on the schedule. Now, looking at it there, this is where the other bye week comes in, is after the Clemson game. So I think, again, that's the perfect place, win or lose, that Clemson game to reset and kind of make that last push here. Because most of these other teams that are fighting for this playoff are looking at conference championship games already, kind of looking ahead, where you guys can just kind of be like, okay, at this point, we don't control our destiny, but let's do what we can to give ourselves a chance. And then I think it gets ugly against Wake Forest. I think you guys mop the floor with them. Now, the one thing to kind of, if you're a little worried about this game, is they haven't been able to stop anybody, but nobody knows Sam Hartman better than that Wake Forest defense right now. He practiced against them every day for
For
the last few years.
17 years.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it feels like. So there might be that flaw to look at there, but I don't think it's going to mean anything. I think Notre Dame's going to walk them.
Yeah, and it's interesting that they have watched them, so they know, you know, those little tendencies and stuff like that. But I think part of what I lean back to is, you know, he came to us because he wanted to be in a pro style system.
Yeah.
So even though it's the same guy, it's going to be in a completely different package. So
Absolutely, yeah.
it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. To your point, though, if he gives any tells or anything like that tips anybody off.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Should definitely be interesting. And then you finish off the year at Stanford. How you think you finish it off, man? Think you get that dub?
No, I'm not worried at all about this one. They're going to have 3 people in the stands, a Christmas tree dancing on the sideline.
Right.
But the real reason is I think they lost 20, 25 guys in the portal.
Ooh.
Shaw is gone.
They lost a ton. We got a couple.
Yeah. Shaw's gone. I think that they're going to have a big rebuild.
Yeah.
Biggest part of this is I know everybody thought the Marshall loss was the most embarrassing for us. It was the Stanford loss. It was humiliating and gut wrenching. And I think all those guys remember that. Marshall kind of came out of nowhere. Stanford, yeah, that was something that if there's any game on the schedule that I would guarantee we win, it's at Stanford.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How to get that dub. So look, with all that being said, come January, like are we playing? Are you in the Final Four? Are you there?
Sean, I cannot be a fan without irrationally finding a way in my mind that my team wins the national championship.
Let's go.
So
if you're undefeated going through that schedule, you guys are absolutely in the playoff, if not potentially the 1 seed.
No,
that is that's a tough schedule.
Here's my ESPN conspiracy theory. They put us at 4. We play Georgia at 1.
Oh yeah.
I know that's not true, but
I want us to be 2, you guys to be 3. I want that Michigan Notre Dame game again.
That would be so fun. I wanted so bad last year once the playoffs were set for a Michigan Ohio State national championship.
Oh, I did too. I mean, I wanted Georgia because I wanted that redemption, the shot at them.
Yeah.
And plus I didn't want Ohio State to win another game. But knowing how the last 2 games went, I was like, yes, please give us Ohio State again. Like let's run that back.
Yeah. Oh, the last 2 times you've played them. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
And the fact that they couldn't readjust. They made no adjustment from the previous year to this year. It's like, it happened. It won't happen again. It happened again.
Yeah, buddy. So, hey, you're in it. Hopefully this will all come to fruition.